Today we are at Chantilly Arts Elegance, presented by Richard Mille. Taking place on the historic French monument Château de Chantilly, the event will host 3 individual concourse events and 800 of the most beautiful and exceptional motor vehicles ever made. So it's an absolute honor to be sitting here, Mark. So thank you very much for your time. So for those of you who don't know, and I'm quite sure there's very few who don't know Mark's incredible story, he's the most successful sprinter in Tour de France history and arguably one of the greatest cyclists of all time. But what we want to just have a brief chat with you about, Mark, is, for me personally, your story in cycling is incredibly interesting. You've suffered incredible setbacks, but your relentless determination to come back again and again and again was incredibly inspiring to myself, but equally I know to millions. But what I really would love to discover is, what was your motivation to continuously coming back and defying the odds?
Oh, bless you, thank you for your words. Thank you, man, that's so sweet. But I don't know, just because I knew it couldn't end like that. Like, yeah. I was perhaps the only person in the world that, I was the best in the world 1 year,
yeah.
And it wasn't like I just went second, third, fourth. Yeah. I went straight to the bottom for obvious reasons. I was sick, and it was strange to me that it was only me and a close few people that could really see that, you know. And the world's fickle, world of sports fickle, world of cycling's even fickler, you know. And I knew that I'd just been sick.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is, of course, I can do everything I can come back. I can do everything I can do to come back. But it's convincing people to give me the opportunity for that, and that's the hardest point.
Yeah.
And so that was harder than actually getting fit again.
Yeah.
And then when it's somebody else's decision, that's when it's out of your control, and that's when you can get in a bit of bother and things kind of like drag on. You can wind you down, you can kind of spiral down, you know. And just a case of getting the right situation with the right people, and you can make it back, I guess, you know. Yeah. I love cycling, and I gave my life to cycling, and I feel, it might sound arrogant to say, but I feel I deserve the right to go out on my terms, I guess. Do you know?
Yeah. So historically, you won your 35th Tour de France stage victory this year, but you did it in a very suave and very cool way by wearing a Richard Mille RM 6702. My question to you is, has that made it one of your favorite watches in your RM collection, or is there another special piece sentimental to you?
They all are for their own different reasons. So that 6702, it was a McLaren edition, and I was actually at quite a low point in my personal life. I think I can't complain. I think a lot of the world were in even lower points. We're in the midst of the COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was riding for Bahrain McLaren at the time.
Yeah.
And I was living up a mountain. I was like 3 months up a mountain. We were in lockdown, and I was training, and I didn't know if I was ever going to really be at a point to win again.
Yeah.
And the brand called me and said, "Oh, where are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm in Lavinia." I said, "Oh, someone's come up to see you." And they brought a 6702 in the papaya orange for me there. And I think the sentimentality of that was apparent immediately. Like, it was a special thing to do. I wasn't at the top of my game. It wasn't like it was really on a personal level, and that's what this brand's about. It's a family company, and when you're here with the brand, you understand, like, it will always be a family company. Everybody who's involved is a family. It's an incredible environment, and that kind of story exemplifies that. And yeah, that's been my watch of choice since, because, well, with the strap it's 30 grams. It's an incredible piece of engineering. You don't know you got on the wrist. I wear it with an elastic strap.
Yeah.
So it's just there, it's comfortable, and it's been with me through my comeback right up until my record-breaking victory. So it's very special. But this one I have now, the 1103, is an even more important story actually.
Okay.
This is when I first met Richard at the 2016 Tour de France.
Okay.
I won the first stage. I take the yellow jersey.
Yeah.
And a good mutual friend of ours, Jan Lemonet, he's president and CEO of ASO, who own the Tour de France. He messaged me and said, I've got someone to meet you. And I looked out my bus and Richard was there. And we corresponded before that.
Yeah.
And so I went out to say hi, and like, I think everybody knows Richard.
Yeah.
He's the person that's most full of life you'll ever meet.
Agreed. Yes.
And so we talk, and he came on the bus, and then we talked about the race, and he's like, I've got something for you, and he took this off his wrist.
Oh, no way.
And he put it on, I put it on, I was like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, wear it. And I was like, so I rode the stage with it, like, see what happened. After the stage, I messaged him. I said, "Oh, Richard, like, let me know where you want me to send the. It was nice to meet you. Let me know where you want me to send the watch back." And he's, "Oh, no, you're crazy. It was a gift." And
awesome.
And it was kind of my start of the relationship with the incredible brand of Richard Mille. And so this one's been very, very special since then.
Yeah.
It's simply the story of it.
Yeah, the sentiment.
The sentiment is. Yeah, it's there's something to hold close to my heart. For sure.
It's been interesting because just being here this weekend and seeing kind of everyone's interactions within the Richard Mille family. And I say family because it is such a family. It's quite interesting to see, probably even from the likes of yourself, that it doesn't seem as formal of a partnership as I think really other athletes have with other brands, and it's been really interesting to watch, and for us to be a bit of a fly on the wall in that situation has been quite fascinating, because it's such a unique brand, and there's so much respect amongst absolutely everyone across the ranks, and it's just been really, really fun to watch and witness. And
I'm glad you've seen that, because it really
it's very transparent,
and it's very rare for a luxury brand to be like that.
Yes.
What you see is exactly what you get. You know? And fundamentally, I've never worked with a partner that I don't believe in what they do or believe in how they operate. Like, I have to be able to talk without reading anything about a product or about a brand. Just talk from the heart.
Yeah, personally connect.
And this is exactly like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you, Mark. It's such a privilege to talk to you. Genuinely.
Bless you. Thank you.
Yeah,
you too.
Présente donc cette voiture. Citation, c'est du bien belle œuvre, comme on dit à bien. On va associer maintenant.
So I'm sat here with Miles Chamley-Watson, 3 times Olympian for the USA team in fencing, but equally an absolute trailblazer in the sport.
Thank you.
So Miles, I'm just firstly very honoured to be sitting here with you. I most definitely followed along your Olympics journey.
Thank you.
Which is really, really exciting to watch. It's quite fun in the Olympics. I obviously truthfully didn't follow fencing my whole life, but what's so cool about the Olympics is that you really do get into all the different variants of sport. But one of the things that absolutely stood out, and kind of I proceeded to learn more about your personal style, is that you're very unconventional in your approach towards the sport.
Yes.
And sitting watching you compete, and now having this really cool opportunity to have this conversation with you, what I really wanted to discover was what led you on that journey to identify that you maybe had an unconventional approach to it and to feel that you could enter the sport with an unconventional approach.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a great question. 'Cause I think like ever since I was just young, I kind of always had this like, my mom would say this like, just different way I kind of did things as a kid, like just when I played sports, where I was as a kid, I was very happy, but also very mischievous. And I kind of never ever wanted to fit in, whether it was like playing football or just, I don't know where it truly came from, just because no one in my family is really like that in that way. And then since I got into fencing as a punishment actually, as a bad kid growing up, it was tennis, fencing, and badminton. I had to pick it up.
Yeah.
And I was say 10.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, every little kid loves a sword at that age.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, pick up a stick.
Yeah, cool.
I was like, yeah, this is fun. And they're like, oh yeah, you can go to the Olympics. And I was like, for fencing?
Yeah.
Like, what? And then I kind of like zoned in a little bit. I was like, okay, cool. And then the first time I really like put the mask on and the whole equipment, I was 12. Immediately felt like a superhero.
Yeah.
And I started to like move differently than the kids. I was way more aggressive. And the coach was like, wow, like your style's so unconventional. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, oh yeah, you know, it's very classical. And I kind of came in here with a completely different way of approach. And then that's when I knew I was 12. I was like, okay, cool. This is the purpose, but this is also how I'm gonna do it my style.
Yeah.
And then, you know, fast forward 10 years, you know, winning the first world championships as an American, black person, whatever that was, I realized that like I did it my way and just you know, hitting people between my legs or just being different. And that also opened so many other doors to like other athletes in other sports. Like, oh wow, this is not what we thought of fencing. Like his unconventional approach kind of changed the, you know, the convention of the sport, which is still very elitist, still a little bit more uptight still.
Yeah.
And if I can be a different face to it, it'll get more kids in, which will grow the sport, more audience. So if that answers your question, I was 12 until now. It kind of goes into like where I dress, the people that I work with. Just always wanted to be different, but also stay true to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing, though. I mean, as a 12-year-old, for your coach at that age, not to be like, you're doing it wrong, change your style, and to be able to see that as a talent and nurture it. That's, I mean, huge testament.
Yeah.
And also to you, to sticking to it.
Yeah.
Of being like, no, dude, this is my way.
Exactly. Sticking to anything as a kid at that age was so hard. But I loved it right away, so it wasn't punishment. Yeah. So if I never got out of trouble, I never got into trouble. Yeah. Which was a double-sided sword, which is now what I do. So it's pretty crazy, actually. Yeah. That's led me to be here talking to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the small little things. Yeah. Like if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be talking to you. Exactly. Which is, it's a crazy path you can take in life. Yeah, it's like there's forks in the road almost. Exactly. So that's what I'm very grateful for that. Yeah. So you are very outspoken about making the sport more inclusive to various demographics, races, to really just grow the sort of the barrier of entry to the sport, or to, I suppose, reduce the barrier of entry to the sport. Yes. What is your ideal vision around that? Yeah. Well, I think my ideal vision obviously is I need to make it more, take from niche to mainstream. And how I can do that is visually, whether it's attention, whether it's more TV time, whether it's more media outlets covering the sport. That's how you grow an audience, right? And it comes from the basis of it is getting kids when they're 8 to 10, develop them, or 8 to whatever that age is. So going to schools, right? And we need to, you know, have a better curriculum, offer it as like a basketball as an option. Right. And then from the juniors to the seniors, unless you're on the Olympic team or World Championship team, you're not going to be getting paid or being able to fly, right? Because it's expensive. So now it's okay, how do you make it so if you're top of the sport, it's all funded for you. Now you're going to raise more money. So I have a plan and I'm working on some things, but ultimately I have the ability to change the sport, which comes around once every billion years, right? So if I can say, all right, Miles won a lot, whatever, but he also changed the sport for the better, like that's better than any medal I could ever win. Legacy. Exactly. So you would you define yourself as modernizing the sport? Yes, I think I would have to define myself as modernizing the sport and changing the way people also do the sport, the style within the sport. Yeah. You know, having my own move, like these kind of things grow the sport in terms of who's paying attention to it, right? Because fencing was always going to be there, but how do you get other audiences?
Yes.
That's how you grow. And then it also hits like a natural algorithm, and then people just start to, oh, well, this is cool, and then my kids can get into it. And then once you kind of hit that train, or you know, whatever the word is, and I think it'll really take off.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I would change, is getting it into more schools and then just making it more of a global sport.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Then kind of like proceeding on that, you obviously have a great relationship with Richard Mille.
Yeah.
And it seems a very obvious one to us today. Yeah. But what I wanted to kind of explore was, I mean, you before that had your own unique style, your own sense of fashion.
Yeah.
The marriage with Richard Mille seems very synergetic, but how did that come to place?
Got a good story for you.
Okay, yeah.
And it's funny that you say that, because like I always have these like things I write down, you know, vision goals. And I think I was watching Rifai play, and like maybe right after my Olympics in 2016, I saw him playing with it was like baby blue, and I was like, what is that? It's like different looking.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, oh, this is cool. Obviously, like I know the brand and the name, but I was not really familiar with who was wearing it, what was at that time, 10 years ago. And I was like, wow, this is cool. And I did research. Oh, it's super light. I was like, well, I'd love to be sponsored by them one day. And then you fast forward to, I'll never forget the phone calls, 2021. I got a call from, through my old manager at the time, Dimitri, who's one of the sons. Dimitri Mille, I love him to death. And it was like, you know, just talk to this guy. I talked to him for like an hour on the phone.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, oh, like, who are you? Like, you didn't even say his last name. I was like, nice to talk to you. He was like, oh, you know, I'm Richard Mille, my father is this. And I was like, hold up. And he was like, oh, when are you going to be in Paris next? I was like, I'm actually going to be there competing in 2 weeks. So I went into the office. You know, Richard was in there with drink in his ham. He had ham in his hand. Just like,
as the French do.
Yeah, like just dancing. And I was like, this guy's incredible.
Yeah.
And Owen just give me a kiss on the cheek, and I was like, I love you. And it became like, and I'm pretty sure I called him Dad that day. I'm pretty sure I did. And I was like, we didn't even sit down. I was like, this such an amazing energy.
Yeah.
Right? And then we sat down, had a amazing conversation, didn't talk about the contracts, no nothing.
Yeah.
The question was like, can you wear a watch when you compete? I was like, yeah, I can. And then that was it. And then, you know, we started talking, and then Dimitri was like, hey, what are you doing next week? I was like, I'm still here. He was like, I'm getting married. Come to the wedding.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, okay. And I went to the wedding, and I was like, yeah, this is it. This is family.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is family.
Yeah.
And I met Alex, who became my brother. I met Amanda, who's literally my sister. And you meet these people. Tim, I love everybody.
Yeah.
And you don't have to try to be anyone but yourself, which is why the brand's who it is, right? And to be part of them, it's the most natural, organic relationship that I could have, you know, and also just makes perfect sense now. But if you were looking, oh, we're gonna sign a fence, you know, and you're like, but actually, almost perfect sense. Timing, precision, the elegance of the sport. So that's what school is, to break that down, because that's such an amazing feat for me personally. To be, you know, ambassador of the brand is a dream, but also, oh, he's a fencer. Wow. And then I also opened more doors for other, you know? So it's been honestly like, I love, you know, events or whatever I have to do. It's not work. It's not work. And that's you know, like, you know, meeting Mark, right? I met him in Barcelona, and then ends up becoming a great friend of mine. You never ever had the opportunity to have me and Mark in the same room. When would that ever be a possibility? I bet it's I'm like seeing like a unicorn than, you know? And then it ended up being one of my great friends now. And it's so awesome to have that relationship through them. So it's literally priceless. You can see, like, there's, I mean, I said it when I was chatting to Mark, but the sense of family dynamic, it's phenomenal. We've been flies on the wall, and it's just seeing how you guys interact with them as a family. It is extended family. And across all levels. I mean, it's across all team members here. Anyone who kind of walks within the ambience of the team, it's just this like arms open approach. You can feel it, right?
Here's a piece of ham, glass of wine.
And you can feel it, right? You can just see sense of energy within each other.
And it's organic. It's not like a pretentious or
and every ambassador you meet is just like a lovely person. And you realize why, because they're very selective with who they work with. And you know why, okay, it makes sense. But the outside might not understand, but within the world that matters to them, you get it.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's what you want as a partner.
Yeah, completely.
And also, it's like I can ask for anything in the world if I want to, and they would do whatever it was. I do the same thing for them.
Yeah.
Which is not just wear this. It's like, how do we help you as a human? Which to me is more important than anything with support. It's actually priceless. Yeah. Some things you can't obtain.
Yeah. In a what can be a fickle industry, in sports.
And then within the watch industry, it's still very. Sometimes you might feel a little bit. An uppity environment, right? But then you're like, this is might be the top of the food chain. Yeah. But it's we get everybody here is lucky enough to own a watch, but no one of us has really been talking about what they do for a living. Yeah. It's like, oh, I love it. They tell me a story about
exactly.
This, which is really cool. It's like, and everyone has their own story about the first one, and and like someone has one that you want. And I'll like take a picture and I'm like, Amanda, I like this one. Yeah. Which is just cool. Yeah.
Just sorry, that just brought my attention to the one you're wearing.
And it's like funny because like this is the most perfect watch for me because obviously it's got full set diamonds, but like this is the perfect first one for me because it makes so much sense to Amanda was like, I have the perfect one. I was like, this is it. And it's just me and I wear it every day. Yeah. I get to compete with it on.
It's so cool.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a
Yeah, I do agree. It's perfect.
Yeah, I just love it. I look at it and I just smile. Yeah. I'm in the airplane and when the light hits you you're like,
it's cool.
It's honestly just a blessing.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much, Miles. It's been an absolute honor to talk to you.
Mate, pleasure.
So much respect for what you are doing.
Thank you very much.
On a bigger scale, but also on a personal scale.
Thank you.
It is very inspirational, and obviously have mine and the whole team's support.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for your support. Cool. Great questions, by the way.
Thanks, Miles.
You actually asked very good questions.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I hope you can get the full outfit of my guy.
Says you, dude.
Because he looks superb. Okay? Real pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Miles.